Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Pivotal Podspective. It is me here, Elliot Brown, and
Adrian, not Brown, Dorobantu, but yeah, me.
Adrian Dorobantu. We are supposed to have guests. We've had a small technical hitch where Brennan Tolman and Nik Crone are going to be joining us in a second. They've just sent me a little email. It's popped up. So they said 2 minutes. I think they're rebooting something. So we thought we'd start anyway. We said we're going to start at 9 p.m. And here we are, aren't we, Adrian?
Exactly. And today, I'm not sure if people can see, but I am Lighting McQueen. That's what I'm playing with today, you see? It's a very cool roller. Just make this. Amazing, mate.
That's a kid's ruler. I love it.
Yeah, I just found it in a car that I bought a while ago, and I just nicked it.
Yeah. You found it in a car. Not another one of your myriad of cars, Adrian.
That's... Every time when I buy a new car, it's so nice because I always like to discover new things. And usually I just take the back seats out because that's where the kids stay. And you find lots of toys and coins.
Oh, do you?
Sometimes food as well, especially McDonald's chips, fries, but that's not really good.
And food as well.
Exactly.
Well, listen, we may have people that have joined us today, Adrian, because this is the first time we're going across 5 different profiles, 5 different not platforms, but profiles. So we are on my personal Facebook page. Hi, everybody. We are on Essex Business Radio's Facebook page. Hi to those. We're also on the Essex Business Radio community group as well as our YouTube channel and Twitter as well. So hi to everybody that's going to be watching us across all of the profiles and platforms. It's exciting. I'm loving the fact that we're going across this, and thanks to StreamYard and what we do here, this is it works very, very well.
It's really cool, to be honest. Yeah, exactly. Going across so many profiles. You can also say platforms as well at the end of the day, because it's almost like each of them, it's a separate platform. It's really, really cool, really interesting.
Absolutely. We have somebody, we've got a Facebook user. I have no idea who it is, but he's saying hello. Hi, Facebook user. We don't know who you are. You probably have to give access by putting your name in. I think there's a tag there. So in future, I think you go to StreamYard and you put your name into it. It allows your name to be used. You'll probably come from the Facebook group, I think, in fact. So hi anyway. So anyway, we are going to be talking to Brennan Tolman and Nik Crone, who are our media extraordinaires.
Exactly, but because they are media extraordinaires, they wanted to have their video perfect, right? The quality of the video. So they're working on something now because it was a bit green grayish, and now they're working on something to make it ultra HD 4K things like that.
and we will take the piss out of them both, and I can see them now on my screen. We're gonna bring them into the fold, and so here we go, guys.
What's
here
up?
We are.
Sorry, how's it going?
Yeah, that's
Surprise.
Yeah. So the media guys are not green or gray anymore. Now they have true colors on them. And here's Brennan Nik.
So media extraordinaires, guys, videographer, media extraordinaires, and global media extraordinaires who, let's face it, did fuck up the video a little bit, didn't you?
It's true. Absolutely. It's true.
Hey, listen, that's the best thing about being live. We thought we'd go live anyway rather than waiting, because we go live at 9. So down here are Brennan and Nik, Brennan Tolman and Nik Crone from Tolman Media. Down here, yeah. And how you doing, guys? You're in Utah, right?
We are. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we're in the middle of the desert.
Thank you for having us. No, that's not quite right, but you know what I mean. So you are media extraordinaires, and we'll go into a little bit of detail.
Say hello to the girl in the background there.
Hi, you good?
Hi, how you doing? And we're very quickly going to say hello to my mum, who's one of our biggest fans. Hi, Mum.
Hey.
Big love to you, and also this Facebook user has got to register their name, so we'll have that as well. But anyway, guys, listen, thanks very much for coming on the Pivotal Podspective. We're going to be talking about what it is that you do that's pivotal, and we had a chat before we came on. And so there's definitely, really interesting and very cool stuff that you guys are doing. But of course, tell us a little bit about Tolman Media and your journey to get there. Tell us how that's come about and what you're doing.
You got it. Yeah. So couple years ago, I was a kid with a camera and a dream. You know, I just kind of started out. I bought my first camera from Costco.
Right.
And it was like a big deal because at that time we were shooting on tape. If you remember all that.
Yeah.
So I bought a camera. I started shooting weddings myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, there's like pretty good wedding, money in the wedding industry.
Yeah.
And so I was shooting all sorts of weddings and doing my best to grow my business. And I just kind of couldn't figure out how to get more and more bookings. It's really competitive. And then I ran across this guy. I ran across an ad online where he was teaching digital marketing. You know, he was like, I have some secret code I use on Facebook ads.
Secret blueprint.
I don't know. He sounded like some wizard, you know, and he was like, I have some secret blueprint to get you results every time.
How many years ago is that? Just curiosity.
Well, 4 maybe?
About 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's changed a bit since then as well, of course. Yeah.
Things have changed dramatically.
It was like the week his daughter was born, because I remember he's like, hey, got to cancel. My daughter was just born.
Yeah. So 3.5.
And I was like, you were going to come meet? Yeah, 3.5.
Yeah,
Okay, there you go. That's how I always know how long ago it was. It was that week. So he taught me how to use Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and he kind of worked with me and coached me. And from there, I did not want to do weddings, man. It was the last thing on the planet that I wanted to do. They're so high drama. There's a lot of just intensity that comes with the moms and the bride, especially the moms.
Many bridezillas.
Dude,
They exist.
It's true.
Sure.
I have so many stories. I have hours, but yeah, it's so I was like, I do not want to do weddings. So I was like, let me sell products. I tried to sell like mugs that like stir themselves, you know?
Yeah, I remember the product. Yeah.
And I failed, man. I blew them up in the dishwasher on accident. That's why they failed, because they have batteries in them. But no, I tried everything, and I would call Nick constantly. I was like, help, I can't sell products.
It was literally every 7 days he would try something new.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I
everything.
admire.
I just,
I mean, listen, it's tenacity. I mean, you've got that entrepreneurial flair. It's about finding you've got to find something you can work with, isn't it?
Right, because I think every like prospective entrepreneur, if you're watching this, you're like, someday I'm going to make it. I just don't know what it is yet. You know, like if you're going to work hard enough, your effort will be enough to get you there.
Yeah,
you just have no clue right now what it is, and I didn't either. It took me years to get there. So finally, I'm like, you know what? I need money. I spent all my money on these exploding mugs. And so I start running ads for weddings to see, can I get jobs for myself, you know?
Yeah.
And it worked. For like $20, I could book like a $1,500 job. And I was like, okay, finally there's a real application of everything Nick taught me. So I started booking myself. And then finally, like somebody tried to book me for my birthday. And I was like, I don't want to do my birthday. So I went to my buddy and I said, hey, will you go film under my name? And he's like, sure. Yeah. And that was the very first time we ever contracted a job out.
Okay.
And it's funny because you look at it now and it's a national empire, but he went and shot it. And I was like, and they loved him. And they were like, that Tim guy was
empire.
Great.
I like that. I like that.
Oh yeah. And they were like, that Tim kid was great. We love Brennan Tolman Media. And I was like, okay, they don't expect myself to show up anymore, right? We can work this out. So then I just kept booking, and I needed more people because I was booking too much. So I started focusing. I was still shooting weddings, but I was focusing as hard as I could on the marketing side. So then I just, I got to the point where I hired 2 guys, 3 guys, 4 guys, 5 guys. And then I had a problem of consistency. How do you standardize the process with photos?
Yeah.
Everyone takes different angles and everyone has different poses and attitudes. And so I built this online course called Wedding Mastery, where it teaches photographers how to do it the Tolman way.
Right. Okay.
So then I was like, okay, cool. All my new photographers have to run through this system, right?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
The problem was at that point, we were booking like 500 a year. I mean, I say that as a problem because the scheduling was a nightmare. We were like individually texting each photographer, do you want this job? Yes or no? And they would like haggle and they'd be like, yeah, I'll do it, but it's my birthday, so pay me this much. And it was like, it just got really hard. And so then circle back in Mr. Crone here, he calls me like 2 years later. So this is like about a year and a half.
It's been a long grind.
Yeah.
There was a lot there.
It's all a long grind, my friend. It's all a long grind.
He called you just because he wanted one of those self-steering mugs? Or
I wanted that mug, man. I might have it somewhere. But no, so he calls me and he's like, hey, I've been watching you on Facebook. It really looks like you're exploding, and I think I could help.
Yeah.
And he said, let me come in as a partner. I'll vest for equity. I will literally just work for free, and if I do a good job, give me some ownership in the company.
Nice.
And I said, please, we need an adult to help us because we don't know what we're doing, you know? Bring the adult in the room. We had all sorts of issues. I was too nice. I'm the nice entrepreneur. And so people were just stepping all over me.
Lots of drama.
It wasn't profitable because we weren't drawing that hard line in the sand. I felt guilty taking a profit, right? So then at that point, Nik comes in and we basically came together and all with our partners and decided, let's build a software that it's like a bidding software where if we book a job for like July 15th, we can send out a notification. All of our photographers have the app.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, that's cool. Oh, July 15th. And then we tell them what the maximum we're willing to pay them. We'll pay you $400 for this job. But they can then bid if they want it lower or at the maximum price. So they're like, well, I really want a job. I'll do it for $320. So 10 different photographers all submit bids. And then we go back in and we look at all the bids. And the coolest part about this app is we can assign each photographer a quality score. So, 1 through 10 or whatever, how good are they? And if they're really good, they have a 10. And so the higher their score, basically the higher chance they have of winning, even if their bid is higher, right? Okay. And so we developed this algorithm so that basically we always get the best photographer for the lowest price every time a job goes out.
Okay.
And Nik was instrumental in building all that and working with that and wireframing the software and working with the developers. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. He's the adult. And so basically it was a huge success. And we actually started saving money on all of our packages. And we had just hired a ton of, photographers and they were all just bidding. And the problem was we still couldn't make any money.
Yeah. Right. Well, and that's where I think it was like 7-8 months. It was towards the end of that first year I got involved. And I was getting so frustrated because we do like $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 months. Yeah. And at the end of the day, we had this much money left over.
Right. Yeah.
And, everyone had a salary. I was working for free. And so of course I was naturally like, dude, what's going on? Right.
Yeah, for sure.
All this money coming in and all of it going out. And we're like, dude, what is wrong here? And we toiled for 6 months. Yeah. And we tried to expand. We're like, oh, let's go into Las Vegas. Let's go into Arizona. Let's go. We tried to expand into different states, different markets. And that's kind of when I had a semi-ultimatum where I was just like, yo, I'm out of this business, or we do a hard pivot because I'm not going to waste any more time making 100 and keeping none of it. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of when we started licensing.
Yeah. I had kind of burned out. It had been 4 or 5 years of me doing this.
Just constantly slogging away.
Oh, this was last August. I mean, I was still shooting weddings myself to make money because the business wasn't profitable.
Less than a year ago, man. It's crazy.
And so I go on this trip to Asia with my wife, who, as you saw and crawling in the door, is Asian. She's from Taiwan. And so she was crawling. No, so we went to Asia, and I get back, and I'm in the San Francisco airport, and Nik texts me this really cryptic message, and he's like, I have a way to take our business, make 10 times the revenue, and do 10% of the work.
Yeah.
And keep it. And keep the revenue.
And I'm like, tell me, please. And he's like,
figure a solution out.
And he's like, no, we're going to talk about it when you get back. And I'm like, I'm in America. Call me right now. And so I call him from the airport.
You're in the airport, yeah.
I'll never forget. And he's like, what if we license the system? It's similar to franchising, but it's not. Yeah. In the sense that you sell them the rights and you can provide optional support, but you can walk away and they'll pay you a royalty forever. And I was like, that's great, but who's going to want this? It's my last name. Yeah. Who's going to want a Tolman Media business?
And that's the thing is you sort of think, well, the photographers are out there. They're doing their stuff anyway. They're taking their photos. Who's going to, and as you start doubting the ability, the things that you've done and you've grown and you've put together, you start doubting the fact that who's going to want this stuff? Who's going to want this? Because clearly they're not going to. But the fact of the matter is, they clearly do.
They did, yeah. And just to add to that too, I remember 4th of July last year, worst day of my life. My wife comes in and
worst day of your life. That's pretty harsh.
Awful. I open up the bank account. The accountant told me we were at 19 grand. We were at $100, and I was like, and I panicked because it was for me, it was the crashing of the dream. Everybody who's watching this, and you want to be an entrepreneur, all you want to do is have that freedom, that financial freedom to do what you want. And that was my moment where I was like, I failed. I didn't make it. It didn't work. And so I literally was in fetal position on the floor. I had a total mental breakdown and I was like, it's over. Everything I spent my whole life building, all the softwares, all the things, it's gone. I just can't figure this out.
Did you literally look? Did it literally feel like the world was like literally falling apart?
Yeah.
I've had moments like that. Trust me, and it does. Literally, it's almost a visual thing, isn't it? It's like it's almost like everything goes from color to black and white and drains away, doesn't it?
Completely.
And there's a lot of people that will resonate with them.
Absolutely. And I just was like, you know what? Like, it's over. I messed up. I failed. And now, like, and then in September, we made the pivot. Just a couple months later, we said, okay, well, now we're going to try this licensing thing and maybe it'll work. And it did. So initially we were like trying really hard to we had to create obviously tons of trainings. We didn't know what we were doing.
We had a lot of trainings. It wasn't quite organized. We filled in the gaps.
We had to create handbooks and start documenting. Here's what I do on a day-to-day.
Yeah.
Standard operating procedures.
All of that stuff that other people can
all the processes and systems and bits and pieces and documenting the whole lot. You can't, I mean, people can only scale up in a business if you've got all those bits in place, right? Yeah. So if you're then going to license it, you can't give somebody your business to operate with if they don't have the booklet to work it, right?
Exactly.
And for me, it was like, with licensing, it's almost like the dreaded F word. You can't say franchise. However, people know exactly what a McDonald's franchise is.
Yeah.
And so you say franchise.
It's dirty. However, it's a dirty word, isn't it?
It's a dirty word. But you know what? They get it immediately. And then we tell them we have all the flexibility that franchises do not. We can get creative. We can get flexible on pricing. They can operate outside of standard operating procedures. They can go into left field if they want, right? So all of this stuff, and we're like, okay, we've never done this.
Yeah.
Let's do it, man. Let's just do it. And we were like, okay. So we just kind of ran with it.
Yeah. So I worked for months just packaging the training, the videos. I built what I call a portal. It's just a series of videos to train the new owner, the new salesperson, the new manager. Like
every single role.
They should walk out of that knowing exactly how to run a Tolman Media area. And then I said, Nick, sell it, man. Help. and he's the professional salesman.
Yeah.
And so basically we just started negotiating and we said, hey, our first couple sales, $5,000 down.
We did it wrong in the beginning, but we've eventually perfected
talk about that for a minute.
Yeah. So, in the beginning we were like, okay, well, instead of saying, hey, we need 40 grand, right? We can get in with much less money. We can charge more. In the beginning, we were like, it actually took us a month to find our first partner.
Oh, yeah.
We talked to this guy a dozen times. He was a retired MBA and super analytical. And he was, super hard, just super skeptical. Getting the first sale is always the hardest. Don't you agree?
Yeah, of course it is. With anything.
It's the hardest.
And then the floodgates open if you can figure it out.
If you get one, you can get 5. Then I have 50. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, listen, to have an analytical person like that to start off with made you cross the T's and dot the I's just that little bit more to make sure that this person was right. What a great person to have as your first seller as well.
I never thought about that. That's a great point.
I mean, he was our number one critic. And once we got that locked down, everything else was easy. So the early deals, I don't know if you guys like talking numbers, but I love the numbers. It gives me the goosebumps, man. So for us, the early deal, I think we took $5,000 down.
Yeah.
And in fact, it was we need $1,500 down and $1,500 month 2. And so we took $5,000 over 3 months. That may have been our worst deal. There's 110,000 weddings in Las Vegas every single year.
A ton.
Number 2 in the country, in the United States.
Prime territory.
Yeah,
Prime territory.
Would be, right. Yeah.
Right?
I love Vegas.
Yeah, right. Who doesn't, right? And so it took us a month to sell the guy. And I think we sold the area for $70,000.
Wow.
Okay. So we took 5,000 down.
Yeah.
And then we said, okay, well, we need a monthly payment, right? That's how you pay off the remaining balance. So it's kind of like a credit card. Yeah. Well, this is exactly what we did wrong in the licensing games. I think the first 4 or 5 partners we brought in, we were like, hey, we're going to put you on $1,500 a month. Yeah. We're going to put you on 18. And so we would structure, I think we were at we're at $20,000 a month coming in from our partners from these deals. However, here's the biggest problem is they all got nervous after the first month was over and they're getting ready to make their first payment because like any business, it takes a little bit of time to get the business going.
Yeah. And these people just expecting sales immediately.
It doesn't work like that. Yeah. It doesn't work like that. So I had a partner come to me and he was like, Nick, I want Colorado. I want the whole state. You know, I think there was like 70,000 weddings a year out there.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he's so risk adverse. I love everything you're saying. I cannot do the monthly payment. I will not move forward. And I was ready to walk away. Well, he came to me and he said, he proposed something interesting. And this was a huge step for us.
Game changer.
Okay.
And he was like, you know, I will pay 14% of the gross amount that comes in addition to the royalty. So we have a 7% royalty, 14% more. So now he's at 21% of any dollar he collects on a business that has roughly a 45, 50% net profit on.
Okay.
And he wants to pay that. We'll track it separately and use it to pay his area down. And it just clicked for us. He started making 2 sales a week, and we're like, oh wow, we're getting like $700 a week from this guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's psychologically, it's less painful to do it that way. I mean, but ultimately you're making more money, right?
We ended up making more money,
lots more,
and it was totally performance based. And so now the sales pitch sounds like this: hey man, all I need is a down payment. I can make a deal work with anyone, and it's 100% risk free. If you book 100 weddings in a month, sweet, you pay. You know, typically most partners between a 7% royalty, they typically pay 8 to 10%. So 14% was a little high for most people. Yeah. So, you know, 15% in total, right? Hey, if you book 100 weddings, 15% goes to us.
Yeah.
And then if you book 0 weddings, 15% goes to us.
Yeah, exactly.
And so now we're like, they get it.
Right.
And it was, so we moved to this place where we were selling, and now I'm doing you a favor. Yes, we need some money. Every business, we have some ongoing costs, some startup costs, just like you have startup costs. So we need something down. We, you know, put some skin in the game. But really, everything's performance based. And it just took, I was doing them a favor. And now a lot of our partners are doing $20,000, $30,000 a month. And it's just like, hey, congratulations. You didn't have to learn a thing. You don't have to do advertising. All you got to do is be a monkey and follow the playbook. And they start killing it. And now we have 60 partners, and we're international, and it's exciting.
And it's great because like once we figured, it's like that first sale is really hard to make because you don't know the mechanics of the sale. Once we learned, hey, for $3,000 to $20,000, depending on the area, get in, and you'll make money within 2 weeks of you spending ads because you're going to book a wedding. You're going to take a half deposit and pay yourself back. If you're going to make a profit today, even if the wedding's in like 5 years, who cares? And so you're literally going to start making money immediately. And if you don't, you can walk away from that, you know, $110,000 you owe on the area. Walk away from it. We'll just resell the area to somebody else. And they were like, oh, for $5,000, I get a business that's going to maybe pay me $5,000 a week. Done. And so then we started selling, like a frenzy started where everybody started and we started upping the price of the area payment.
Supply and demand.
Great. Now area payments are $150,000 total. Right. So now if you buy it, $5,000 down, $150,000 in financing, they don't care because they still have 30% margin on everything they make. And so we just started, like, literally there weren't even enough areas to sell. We just started selling like crazy.
So area wise, I mean, geographically, what I mean, obviously Vegas is an area, but I mean, how do you work that out?
Yeah. So that's a great question. So again, we were a little generous with geographic regions. So we would be like,
weren't you? Yeah.
Like we're going to sell Oregon. We're going to sell Washington State. We're going to sell Montana, right? We would break up places like California, Florida, Texas, where you have lots of like 30 million people in Texas. Okay, we'll break up Dallas, Houston, you know, and San Antonio. And so we would break those up. And, you know, even on any of our other licensing businesses, we break them up. Hey, San Antonio plus 50 miles, right? And that's a territory. But back then it was, hey man, we just want to get as many partners in as possible. We want it to be very juicy for them. We know if they're making a lot of money, we're making great money on our royalty.
Of course,
And so that's how we would break it up, you know. And so, and even to this day, we're selling international. You know, we just got off the phone with a gentleman in South Africa.
Oh, cool.
And it's like, hey, let's sell South Africa. There's 140,000 weddings in South Africa. I didn't know. You know, Germany will break up. There's 400,000 there. So, but most of the time it's just like clear boundaries that already exist.
And what's funny is like, it's just been really funny to see, I guess, the success that they've had that I just couldn't have. If I would have tried to expand as a kid who lives in the desert, into like Boston, I don't know what Boston looks like. I don't know what's important to those brides. And then the dude who bought Boston, I think he bought it for 30 grand or whatever. We had a couple deals where it was like, just give us 30,000 cash, no financing. You're clear to go.
Yeah.
I think in the first week he opened up his payment processing account on Square. He booked like $6,000 down.
Right.
And he got flagged by the DEA, the drug enforcement, because they thought he was a drug dealer because he collected so much money. And I was like, what?
It's a new business.
And he was like pissed. And I was like, dude, why are you pissed? This is incredible. Like you just booked like 12 grand worth of weddings. You collected $6,000. And he was pissed because he didn't get the money for like months. He just barely got it. But
this is the newest. The newest business opportunity, guys. The drug.
No.
It's the drug business disguised in weddings.
And
you can edit that one out. Oh wait, we're live.
We're live. You can't hide the fact that this is all a front. No,
yeah, there you go. No, but so what happened is we literally just started like. I started using that as an example. I was like, no, listen. Because they were like, oh, I just don't know if it's going to work for me. I was like, well, let me tell you what happened in Boston. He had the people breaking his door down because they thought he was a dealer. So, and then like what? North Carolina?
North Carolina was crazy. And, talk about like messed up expectations. Typically, so I've spent over $20 million in Facebook ads, right?
Yeah.
And so like, if someone's like, hey, let's start advertising, my expectation of them is, hey, give me $5,000. Let me throw it out the window.
Yeah.
And hopefully we learn something. That's advertising, right?
Yeah.
So we come in, we have proven ads. We've been around for 5 years. North Carolina shows up and says, okay, I want North Carolina. He gives us money. We start going. We turn on his proven ads. And in the first week, he booked, I think he made like $8,000 or something down.
Right.
And he booked like 5 brides. And like, it's not normal to just spend $200 and
get that return.
Yeah, he's printing money. I mean, he's like the government. It's ridiculous. So, I'm gonna squeeze
We've got drug dealers. We've got money.
So, like, the expectations are just wild sometimes, and that's the power. Like, whenever someone comes to me and they're like, "Hey, I have an idea. I want to license it." I'm like, "Okay, I have to teach people how to be an owner, not an operator. That's critical." And you have to have the Facebook ads ATM, and that's not easy to get there. And we've certainly spent, hundreds of thousands of dollars to figure out the right text with the right pictures, with the right media, the right landing page. I mean, for us, it's science. Yeah. And now that we have that, you plug them in and it starts working.
Well, and sorry, just to plug one last thing in there too. Like one of the reasons it did work is because the year before we did any of this, my wife and I bought this old Subaru. And we just drove all over the U.S.
trip.
And we paid brides to model for us, or people who got married a year. Anybody who had a wedding dress, we paid them to model for us in Portland, in New York, in Arizona. We took all the pictures, not knowing what this is going to become. We just wanted to look like we were national. And so suddenly, when Portland bought it, we were like, "Hey, we actually have like tons of Oregon coast like pictures for you." And those still to this day, those pictures are the ones that explode in Oregon, and we did not know that that's what was going to happen. We were just trying to like make
yourselves appear that you've been busy doing the work. Of course,
but the work had been put in.
Fake it till you make it.
Exactly, and so this like it was so easy to sell Portland because we're like, no, look at these images. We actually have because we have some images that were taken in Utah. They work anywhere in the nation. Of course. Then we have some that are like area specific that just destroy it in that area. And it was just fun to see. Like I never in a million years thought that like those pictures would be used for what they were used for. But I'm so glad now that I put in the time and I did that work. I drove that stupid Subaru with the AC broken.
So the pivotal thing was the whole licensing. Then you did all the test and the groundwork and literally beat yourselves up, not really earning anything. Which let's face it, the start of a business is pretty well how it works anyway.
Right.
And you continued and kept pushing it, and your tenacity. You knew you were going to find something. Well, eventually, you probably believed that you would at some stage. You just didn't know what it was, and you just managed to put all of these tools that you had in your bag together to then. And then obviously with Nik as well, and then just combine that and then go and yeah, it works. I mean, so the licensing side, it's really interesting. But you're absolutely right. Franchise is a dirty word, isn't it? You know, I mean, there's franchising. And whenever I see these things that come up on Facebook, and there's or obviously not at the moment, but a franchise show comes up, and I think, you know, I'd be really interested to go along, but they're just going to try and sell shit to me that I'm not interested in.
Oh yeah, all day long.
And I know the theory. We all know the theory of them. But the licensing side, it sounds softer. It sounds more friendly, doesn't it? It says, and do you think that's why that's worked?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we call them partners, right? We don't call them licensees. We said, hey, we're looking for partners to help us expand the business, and we don't care how much money you have. We just want a sliver of it. We want the right partner. We want the person that's going to actually help us grow Tolma Media in Oregon. Yeah. And in franchising, well, and then if we find the right partner, you know, in licensing, then we're like, great, you know, oh, you only have $6,000. We're going to make that work, and we're going to tweak maybe we'll do a higher area payback, and we'll make it work for you because we want you. And franchising, it's like, oh, you don't have $1 million? Sucks for you.
Yeah. But it gives you flexibility, gives them flexibility as well.
And they love it.
Do you turn people down? Do you turn people down regularly when people approach you? Have you had that where you've sort of gone, you're not really right for us, or you just don't answer the email?
So we definitely do believe, I mean, there are some like red flags that we see every now and then, but I can make a deal work for anyone. If you come to me and say, Nick, I want to get in for free and I want to pay 14% area payback and a 7% royalty, I'll be like, I got some costs in the beginning. And the people who typically come in at the cheapest price, I mean, if you give me $500 even, it's like, well, if you know, you don't have any pain. There's no skin in the game. You know, it's easy for you to walk away. You can get divorced super easy.
You've got to have some sort of pain. You need some commitment, don't you?
Yeah. And you know, the partners who come in, they're like, hey, I'll give you 10 grand, tend to be our best partners. Now, I'm not trying to compare a 10,000 versus a 2,000, but the ones who tend to come in higher, they are already savvy business owners, and they immediately you know, we have some partners who are like, I want to be totally passive. So if they're asking me questions like, how much time do I need to put in every week? Right. Like, I don't want to put any time into this. It's like, oh yeah, we don't want you to put any time into it. In fact, we'll just move on. Right. Like and we do teach, become an owner, not an operator. You don't want to be an owner operator. You want to be an owner, and you're not the operator. And you're going to be hiring people to replace you. And the people who have the most success are the people who jump in hand and feet first. Yeah. And they're doing 60 hours a week. Yeah. And after 30, 40, 65, 100 days, like whatever, right? A couple months into it, they understand their business. They understand their key performance indicators. Yeah. And they sidestep, they replace themselves. And we love that. We want nothing more than to give up a sliver of the revenue that you're making for 100% of your time.
Yeah. I mean, it makes absolute sense, and I love the energy that you guys have got as well, and the knowledge. I mean, you're like my Adrian in a way, Nick. You're the sort of analytical and the sort of cogs side of things as well. Although obviously you've got the sales side as well. And Brennan, you're clearly the creative as well, are you? You're the sort of one that goes, you jump feet first and just fucking hope it's going to work out somehow. And that sort of works really well. I think we've sort of got a similar thing, haven't we, Adrian? I think.
Yeah, definitely.
But it works well. You don't want to be both the same, do you?
No. And we always say, like, you know, like when it comes to Nick and I, like 1 + 1 = 10. You know, like it's just like when we apply,
it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. Great. But we can just both like move very quickly. Like we started 5 businesses during the coronavirus, and we have a problem. You know, we just came together and we were like, we're bored. We can't do anything. and so we literally were like starting LLCs, and started a bunch of stuff, and like it's been crazy. The last few months have been like some of the busiest of my life. It's probably a good thing I couldn't leave the house, you know, and it's just been like insane of just building these new businesses. And like once one of the businesses was, we were like, okay, great. We did Tolma Media. We built that licensing business. Can we do it again? Can we do it faster? Yeah. And so we said, okay, we're going to try it again. And we started another company more geared towards like home service. Similar model. You have your contractors to go do the job. We sell the job and we manage the job, kind of an idea. And that one took 30 days. And we had the whole thing up and running. And after we got it all like set up in 30 days, I mean, literally, Nick started selling. And in 10 days, we got 4.4 million in accounts receivable, right? In total area paybacks in 10 days. And so we were like, okay, well, this time it only took 40 days to get from here to there. And there's tons of territories left to sell.
Right.
And so it was faster the second time. It's always faster the second time when
you've done all the hard work. I mean, the smart business person does that, don't they? Build something, they get it to work, and then you replicate it. And once you've figured out the systems and the processes and being efficient and effective.
Yeah.
Once you've got that and you've ticked all those boxes, all you've really got to do is just put some pretty pictures around it and change it and put a different name on it and do that. Insurance companies have been doing that for years, haven't they?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. For me, if you remember, Elliot, when we are talking, I always said, let's build something and also always make it in such a way that it can be sold later, right? Exactly. And then we just move to the next, right? Because we just have to replicate whatever we've done good in that one and adapt it to the next market or next product, whatever it's going to be.
Exactly, and you've done that, and doesn't it show you that hard work pays off now because you already know the answers to some of those things, but you're still going to learn. You're still going to learn certain things through those 30 days.
Right.
But I suppose the difference is that you had it condensed, didn't you? What else were you doing through that period? I'm assuming that the photography business was a little quieter as well, right?
Was what? Sorry.
I said this photography business was a little quieter over the last few months as well. So
yes, totally.
We felt it a little bit, right? But it's kind of nice in having a semi-recession-proof business, right? Because people were still getting married. We turned on some ads for like elopement ads.
Yeah.
And people jumped on it. It was kind of funny.
And real quick, one thing that was really nice about the wedding industry too is, it really is recession proof in the sense that like I used to charge. So I personally own 4 Tomo Media areas.
Right.
So Utah, which is where it started, Arizona, San Francisco, San Diego. And so I have my own team, plus of course the whole business.
Of course.
And I'm kind of the model home in the neighborhood that they'll come look at if they need advice. And in San Diego, I was charging $2,200 for my normal package.
Right.
And when coronavirus hit, it went to zero. Like nobody was buying anything. So I said, okay, you know what? Like we usually, the biggest expense in, our photography is the photographer and the videographer.
Yeah.
I said, okay, you know what? They're hurting too. All their jobs just got canceled. So I dropped it to $1,400.
Yeah.
I slashed what I pay them in pretty much half. And I just sent them all an email. I said, hey, I'm not trying to like cheap you out, but I want to help you book jobs. And this is the only way we know how to do it. And they kept bidding. They were still willing to work for half of what they made because they get hurt first in the recession. Yeah. They don't have that market.
Exactly.
So
yeah, of course.
Now, my margins are actually pretty much the same as they were at 2,200 that they are at 1,400.
Yeah, because it's relative, isn't it? Everything sort of scales down or scales back up again, dependent.
Yeah, it's a set percent. And so I was like, I'm not too worried about it. And now it went from booking 1 or 2 a week to booking like 4 to 5 a week, which actually makes more sense for me. And so now I'm like, I might just keep it there because
now
I know
you're getting more work.
And every, and of course when it hit, we went live in our Facebook group to our owners of Tomo Media and we said, here's how you can slash your prices. And so there were ways to adjust because at the end of the day, everyone will always get married. It's something
not going to change.
And especially
apart from me.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. And so, it's always going to be happening no matter what happens in the world with the economy or anything.
Yeah.
And so, when you look at that, it's like, if we have better marketing and we're louder than everybody else, we're always going to be found first, and we can always adjust our packages because at the end of the day, we're helping those photographers get their jobs. So that was one really nice thing is like, it did suck for the first month of COVID because nobody knew how long it was going to go.
Yeah.
And I think people were still adapting to that and trying to figure, I think people were still adapting to that and trying to figure things out. And I was in a similar situation with one of my customers and I said, I don't think I can charge you because I don't know what the hell to do now, right?
Right.
I came up with a campaign, and actually that campaign was way better than anything else that we ever did before, And
So and so I think like I actually am grateful we went through it because pre-COVID, San Diego was having a hard time, Arizona was having a hard time, and something happened where now in the middle of COVID, those two are booking a ton. And so when things get back up for Utah and San Francisco, I'll have 4 really strong areas. And I think other areas are the same. Like it's tribulation and trials help you learn. So that's what's beautiful about licensing and about the model that we've kind of built is like other partners who bought, Oklahoma, Chicago, they can do the exact same thing. And I think actually royalties are back up to where they were pre-COVID.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, already.
Great, yeah. That's right. But I have a question for you, because you said you still have some of the businesses in Utah, Arizona, San Diego, San Francisco.
Right.
Do you think how vital is to still be in the business and understand exactly what's happening so you can relate that to your partners?
Yeah. At first, it was huge. I named my 4 businesses. I named my LLC Tolman Media Empire because I'm a Star Wars fan. So
and the dark side.
Yeah, there you go. And then I started a series only for the owners, and it was called Building an Empire. What do you? And I literally was just like, this is what I do. This is the 1 hour of work that I do, because I only do maybe 1 hour of work a week for my 4 areas, because I have a manager and a salesperson.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Everything. I have to be I'm truly a totally passive owner with that. I'll answer a question here or there. But now I don't do anything. I mean, they're so awesome. My team runs the whole business. All my 4 areas, they run them completely. Occasionally I'll jump in and take a look at some of the ads.
Yeah.
But I don't actually have to do anything. And I love it. I think it's really nice to have my 4 areas that do well for me, but then also the royalties of everyone out there that does well. And part of it is it's also just it's my name, But technically I'm the CEO of Tolman Media, but I don't do anything. We hired a president, some outside guy to come in and run the show. Right. And he's got a background in leadership operations. And we said, we'll pay you X% of the royalties. So your pay can scale if you make the company
if you keep growing it.
But that's it. And so it's no risk to us.
Yeah.
If we don't like him, we can replace him. I mean, he's awesome. We would never. But I'm just saying it's no risk because it's performance based. And so at the end of the day, I literally stepped out of the business after building it. It's just crazy. It's not even July yet. It hasn't even been a full year.
Yeah.
And that'll be a good day to come full circle 1 year later and realize I am now out of the business. It's producing thousands of dollars a week of completely passive income. And it's all due to the power of licensing.
Yeah. So licensing, but in order to get there, it's about having all that structure and the strategy and everything there. So you, as you said, you can package it all up, put a nice bow around it, hand it over. When they open that up, it's got everything there for you. Jericho Pasquale, hi Jericho, thanks for joining us. Great points. Yeah, I think there's been a myriad of points that you guys have brought up, and that sort of journey to get to there, I think, was really important part of sort of discussing that, and then sort of going from that, and then, as you said, packaging it up and figuring out what needed to be done.
Right.
Clearly, Nick, you've got a skill in knowing how to get your audience and attract that audience and get those clients drawn into your product and the service as well. So that's the analytical side of your brain that just drills down, as Adrian's smiling over here.
Yeah.
And you just have a particular way of figuring out. It's not an easy thing to do, though, Nick. For the average guy, I'm going to class myself as I'm not going to class myself as average, actually. But for generally, that isn't an easy thing to do. You think you've got it, and when just as you think you've got it, it doesn't work. And I think, Brennan, you were sort of saying this before. You think, yeah, shit, that's it. I've got that. That mug that stirs itself is going to be the killer. And in theory, it does. Kills dishwashers.
And at the end of the day, it's true. It's like I think that one thing that I have learned in my entire entrepreneurial adventure is the best way to make money yourself is to help other people make money. That's when you sell somebody a self-stirring mug, what's the price on that?
What value has that got?
No, it doesn't do anything. Yeah.
I mean, how difficult is it to take a spoon?
Exactly. And does anybody ever sit down and think about the value of how much it's costing? How much? Oh, I wish I didn't have to do this. You know what I mean?
I'm wearing my joints out.
Carpal tunnel. No. So at the end of the day, it's I've learned in all the different businesses I've tried to start, I'm it's so easy to be hey, listen, I'm going to help you make money. You're going to spend $30 on ads, and you're going to book a $2,000 package because I have, and I'm going to help you do that. And that's part of the cool part is, with this area payback model, we literally tell them, we're if we suck and don't help you, then we never get paid. And they're that's a great point. And we're so we have skin in the game to make sure that you make so much money. I mean, think about that. if they owe $100,000 on their area and they pay it back with 8%, let's say 10% to make it easy.
Yeah.
They're going to have to make so much money.
$1 million.
They're going to have to make $1 million themselves before we get paid back that sliver. When you tell them that, they wet their pants. They're like, that's a great point. Like, we have to make them successful. Yeah. And I tell them, I'm like, listen, we would never offer this to you if we weren't ironclad sure that it was going to work. We know it's going to work. And when they see that we believe in our system so much, then they're like, I'm in.
I think you're absolutely right. The confidence and the way you come across anyway, and your explanation. If you're doing that with somebody that's a little skeptical, right, they're going to buy into that. And they clearly are. I mean, it's working very well.
And it's working.
And you're absolutely right. And I've been there, to be honest. And I've tried to do things which I didn't believe in. That's the truth. And I couldn't, especially if I was doing any cold calling. I was like, more like, can you help me and give me some money to try some shit on you? Right? Things like that. It doesn't, But obviously now things have changed. You need to have someone that you believe in and actually present that in a way that it makes you the authority in that industry.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. I think if you're product or service based and you've got something that is going to make other people money, then this is absolutely a way to sort of scale your business up. And as you said, you're coming through. Listen, it could be classed as a recession. Whatever the hell we want to call this situation that we're all in right now. If you can still be making money doing that now, and it's scalable. So as you said. You may make less money in a recession or a difficult financial period of the world, the life or whatever, but it's scalable all the way down. There is no major risk to you as the licensor or the licensee because it's retrospective, isn't it?
No. And the beautiful part, you'll never lose money too. Yeah. So if you're not booking jobs, you don't have an office. Like you only have to actually pay a contractor if they show up, and you will have collected the payment the day before they show up. So at the end of the day, you're never going to lose money. You look at all these businesses that are probably in the next month or so going to start filing for bankruptcy because they have these big offices and payroll, W-2. I mean,
or money, the assets and things like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, my manager is performance based. She'll make X amount of dollars every time we sell X package, and she will make $60,000 to $90,000 a year working 20 hours a week because the better the salespeople are, the more money she makes, and her job doesn't change. And so at the end of the day, but when we hit the coronavirus, there was 3 weeks where she made $200, and she was working 40 hours a week because everybody was rescheduling. And so, but it's the beautiful part is, as a business owner, when you get everybody performance based, then you'll never lose money if you don't book any jobs. Worst case scenario, turn your ads off for 2 weeks. And then you're not spending money, you're not booking jobs, you're not paying anybody, and it's easy. So that's the beautiful part too, is we told them, we're that's one of the reasons it's recession proof. You're not, you don't need X amount of people to buy X amount of shirts or whatever in your store to just pay the rent. You have no rent.
Yeah. I love it. Well, congratulations to you guys. I mean, for doing what you're doing, and the fact that you replicated and got something working very, very quickly, that proves that absolutely works. And there will be plenty of people that I think will see this, hear this, now in 6 months, 12 months time, that potentially going to build a business. They may watch this video in a year's time. They may well be starting something now, and they get to they go through that difficulty over the next 12 months and go, do you know what? The licensing is a good route. I've looked at this lightly before. And now I'm starting to consider what the hell we can do to utilize the same sort of process.
I never looked at that before.
So we'll be chatting after the show. Don't worry about that.
I never looked at that before, but now I'm starting to consider as well.
That's kind of what's fun. That's kind of what brings us to our final step is our most recent adventures. After we've been on a couple podcasts, I had it's called Bigger Pockets, and they reached out.
Yeah, you saw that on your.
I didn't know who they were. I had no idea, and Nick was like, "What, Bigger Pockets?" I was like, "Oh, cool." And so I had no idea, but we went on and talked about it, and all these people started emailing me, and they're like, "Hey, can you help me turn my business?" Tons of people,
dozens,
and I didn't have time. Crazy. And so we said, "Okay, we want to help people turn their business into licensing because I know what it's done for my life." So we literally just a couple of days ago finished shooting, editing, packaging this course, right, to help them. And we actually do want to partner with, if somebody comes to us and says, "Here's my plan," we give them the course so they can go and actually know how do you pivot, as you say, your business to get ready to license. And then we can actually step in once you're ready, help you sell the licenses and all that stuff. And so we actually have a couple entrepreneurs that are now going through that course that we're hoping to work with when they get out of it and just say, okay, cool. Now you're out of the course. Now let's go make some money together, partnering and turning it into licensing. They can sit back while we go and sell their areas for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's kind of where we're at right now.
We're a little selfish if you didn't know this until now. We want to educate people, and we know that we can sell areas for them and they will make money and they have licensing. So anyway, we're trying to, like Brennan said, you scratch other people's back, you help them make money. It always reciprocates, and it goes both ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I love you two guys. I can see why it works very well together. Adrian, I mean, that's pretty fucking pivotal, isn't it? I mean, that's they're nailing it, aren't they?
I think it's the most pivotal that we ever had.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to be seeing where you guys go from here. And I think there's Adrian and I know there's a few things we want to talk to you about, actually. So we'll definitely be having a chat with you off air. But where can everybody find you? So what is it that you want to guide people towards at the moment? Is it the licensing side of this? Is it the photograph? Listen, we can put links on a few things. So but where can people find you guys?
The easiest way is you can email me at brennan@tolmanmedia.com. That's the easiest way to get in contact with me. We have a couple, we have a YouTube channel that we love and we're building. It's called The Hobo Entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And because we're hobos and we're not super flashy. We're just whatever. And one thing that's fun that we do on there is we bought this limo at an auction.
I've seen the old limo. Yeah.
And we rigged it up into a studio. And so we'll go and pick up business people and we'll drive them around and we'll just interview them and we'll drop them off. So you can see some really fun kind of stuff there. But I mean, we also have the course we were talking about. You can get it at licensinglifestyle.com for free. .net. Licensinglifestyle.net for free.
Okay.
And get started there. But those are the three main ways to get in contact. You can email me and we can chat. And I mean, we really love to like it's one of my favorite things to connect with people that watch these podcasts because we don't have to explain everything to them. They're like, I'm ready. I know. Get it. I have this idea of what I'm supposed to do with my business. Let's go,
But I'm assuming there's a few things they have to have in place first. There's going to be quite a lot of people that think this is a great idea, and I'm like an eighth of the way onto where we need to be.
That's the course is for. That's the course.
But that's what that course is for. That's the free course. So absolutely check that out, guys. And if you think you want to be ready in a year or so, then I'm assuming there's some tips in there to get yourselves ready.
Everything they need. Yeah. It's got a phase 1, 2, and 3. Phase 1 is take your existing business or soon to be business, package it correctly. Here are the 5 things you need to do. The second one is establishing your, we call it HQ, right? Hiring a president and the people that are actually going to support those new licensees. And then the third one, how do you sell your licenses and go crazy? So you can take it one phase at a time, and it's awesome.
Well, Nicola Barrett has just said links below. Yeah, we'll add the links, Nicola. Don't worry, we'll definitely do that. Very cool, mate. Very, very cool, guys. I think that's been I've really enjoyed this. What do you reckon, Adrian?
Yeah. Well, what I can say, I enjoyed it.
And listen, I
because I'm the analytical guy, I need to stay and process even more because my mind, anyway, it's my wheels are spinning quite a lot.
I'm excited because there's definitely some things that we want to talk to you about now. And if I feel like that, and I'm a cynical bastard half the time, then there's definitely going to be other people. So I hope you do get some emails and some calls, and you get a load of people that are going to fucking hassle you now and give you even more work to do. Listen, guys, I think you're doing an incredible job. It's definitely pivotal, I'm definitely interested to see how what else you come up with as well, and potentially what we could do working together. Who knows?
Never know, man.
Well, thank you guys so much. We've loved it, and sorry about the blip in the beginning, but hopefully
listen, that was the funniest bit, to be honest. Media base, you can't live that one down, can you? Well, listen, Brennan and Nik in Utah from Tolman Media, thank you very, very much for joining us on the Pivotal Podspective this evening. I nearly messed that up a bit then. Adrian, thank you very much, of course, for co-hosting with me as well. And we'll make sure there's links around this. You'll be able to check this out on YouTube, and you'll see all these guys here. And it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you've really enjoyed this. And if you want to know more about what we're doing here in Essex Business Radio, then you can find us on all social media platforms virtually, apart from, and it's all Essex Business Radio, apart from Twitter, which is Essex Biz Radio, BIZZ. But you may be watching on Twitter as well. So we've gone across 5 platforms. We're going to continue to do this. If you want to catch us on any of those, make sure you do Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 p.m. every week. And Adrian and I will be chatting to people like Brennan and Nik, finding out their pivotal ideas.
And also because we're going on so many platforms now, if we have viewers that want to see us, we can go on Pornhub as well. I've heard it pays quite well. It's quite good, so yeah.
I might already be on there, you don't know. In fact, I could think of a use for your limo.
A new business idea.
Oh boy.
You could license it. You could license it. Listen, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks very much for joining us. And see us here tomorrow again at 9 p.m. And check out the Facebook and Instagram for finding out who's going to be on our guest tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Thanks, guys. We're going to sign off now. So it's ciao for now.
Brown cow. That's what we say.